guys get a chance to, I sent that in an email.
Oh, yeah, I did, I looked at them.
What you guys think of that? I forgot about Leslie just brought it up. She thought it was a good idea.
Yeah, I do too. I looked at it, I think it covers our needs pretty well.
Well, I thought it,
It's not too
better than
detailed.
getting blindsided by somebody wanting to have a little bit of time to think about it.
Yeah. New evaluation.
How often are they gonna bring us these things? Once a
Whenever
year.
they want to, well, yeah, that's something else.
You gonna go from hire date, or you gonna set a certain date for?
Well, that's the problem with our wage agreements is their experience as they move, I don't know. I guess we need to set up how,
This is just an idea, but if you could get all the department heads together, get their opinion of it, see if they want to add or delete anything. And then, because I'm sure you'll get some input.
Well, I was just telling Scott, when he sent that out and I finally had a chance to take a look at it, it was like, oh, definitely.
Yeah,
We should be utilizing this.
absolutely.
Yeah, they won't be asking for a raise so often if they have to fill out 3 papers.
When I was a supervisor with the patrol, their evaluations are unbelievable. They come in like booklet form.
Oh, we had to do those too. When I was
Oh.
supervising for the state,
Yes.
the West Region,
Hated evaluation time.
because you had to be careful in regards to the ranking
Yes.
and such, and
I don't
yeah.
know why they have that so complicated, but they do. Does that sound reasonable? Call the department heads together.
to do the next department review.
Yeah. Get their, how they want to set the time.
Roger, I found that form right there with the Austin Peters stuff that the county had done last year. And that's for pay raises. The department heads fill that out and would bring it to me, and then I could forward it on to the board. That's kind of what we're talking about.
Okay, we better call this meeting back into session. Kelly, I think
Yes.
we're ready.
Okay, just to bring you up to date for the month of June, the statement on the profit and loss. June's actual month, we made $181,310. So our total actual income for the year is $587,526. That sounds great right now, but I'm sure, as you know, with Medicare, a lot of times when you have a really good year, you're going to have a payable to pay back as opposed to a receivable. They set the rates on last year, which we didn't have very much volume. So when you don't have very much volume, they give you an increase on your face-to-face encounters. And so usually the way this happens, they see that your volumes went up, so then they drop your face-to-face encounter rate. And so then a lot of times, critical access hospital finance, it flips the table. And so we'll probably revert back to a lower encounter rate. And if we don't have the increase, the same amount of volume coming through the door like we did this year, and that volume is based really on how well the vaccines work too. So if the vaccine lots don't work very well, you're going to have a lot of people with colds and flus coming through the door. Now if they work, you're not going to have so many. So just in a nutshell, what I'm saying is that it looks great right now,
But the trend could change.
But the trend could change, but we could have a large payback to Medicare at this time next year. What we're doing right now, we're running an interim cost report, and so I'll be able to have that to report to you in next month when I come back, and we'll be able to kind of gauge where we're at so far for the year, maybe how things will turn out after we annualize all the finances. So,
Okay. Everything else running pretty smoothly?
well, we're managing by policy now. We're not managing just by off the hip, and so it's making some people angry. But that's the way it needs to be ran, and that's everybody needs to be treated the same, and that's just the way it needs to be done. And so some don't like it, but I kind of look at it that's the way it is, and that's the way it's going to be, and that's the right way to do things. So.
Okay, well, as long as you're got that conviction, I think. All right, well,
But did want you to know too, I don't know if you've seen it, July 25th, we're going to have a town hall meeting. Tish Hollingsworth from Kansas Hospital Association is going to be here. She's going to give a presentation on hospital finances 101 is what it's called, and it's going to give everybody an idea of the billing processes, how revenue cycle works in a hospital, and how critical access finances actually work, and kind of give you a glimpse into Medicare cost reporting. So it sounds a little boring, but it'll be more interesting than how I explained it. So
and you're having this town hall meeting where?
at the high school.
High school auditorium?
At 7 o'clock, yeah, on the 25th. So everybody's invited. Hopefully we'll have a good turnout for that. So. Is there anything that I can answer for you all right now?
I don't think so.
Okay.
We get our information like third and fourth hand, so
Well, if I can clean
Not,
that up for you, let me know.
not very reliable, so
Yeah.
appreciate you coming in and the work you're doing, so.
Well, thank you very much. So.
All right, now give me that date one more time.
Yes, July 25th,
25th, that's
7
Tuesday.
p.m. Yep.
Okay, all right.
All right, thank you
Thank
very
you, Kelly.
much. Okay, thanks. Leslie, is there a time I can speak with you today? Do you have anything open?
Let me see here. What about 1:30
That'd be fine.
at my office down here?
Okay, I'll come down. Thanks
All
a
right,
lot.
thank you.
Yeah. Bye.
Right.
Thank you.
This is Chris Schromick. He, Leroy Looters, I believe is his name. Is not able to make the meeting today. He's here to present his stuff for him. He needs to get back to Atwood for a funeral, so.
Yep, go right ahead, sir.
Okay.
We're a little bit ahead of the schedule and our 9:15's not here yet, so this works out
Okay,
good.
perfect, thank you, I appreciate that. We're having some rough times over there with some accidents this week, so we're, here, I'll hand each one of those to you guys. I'll leave my copy with Scott when I'm done here. My name is Chris Schromick. I don't know if I think I know Roger.
Yeah.
Terry, I'm Chris, and Mr. Garner. Okay, they've got new commissioners since the last time I've been here, so I have to get acquainted. But I am from Atwood. Not Deb or Leroy, but I have been a part of the dental clinic since its inception. It started in 2008 when I was an economic development director. At that time, I just had returned back to the community, started a business, and it was kind of to make a little extra money. My brother said, "Why don't you become an economic development director?" So I since then have been involved in a lot of these projects. But during that time, we organized, and at the time, really the community had been without a dentist since Dr. Tad Poling had passed away, so it was about 14 years there we were without a dentist, and we were really struggling on how to recruit a dentist. So we, at that time, there's dental statute laws that won't allow you to, as a community, just to help a dentist come into the community, like any type of incentive is against regulation or state law. So we looked in, there was a couple hospitals at the time, Scott County and one other that was trying to use the hospital as a recruiting mechanism for a dentist, and that didn't pass the law. So when we worked on a thing where at that time was what they were calling safety net dental clinics. There was one established in Douglas County, one starting in as an FQHC in southeast Kansas in the Fort Scott area. We looked into that model to see if we could become a community dental clinic. We had to pass some legislation that allowed us, using the National Health Service Corps designation and the fact that we would serve the whole community, no matter if they're uninsured, not insured, or on state insurance, that we could then be able to recruit dentists. So once that happened, we worked with the legislator, got that law passed. We started an operation as a Kansas nonprofit safety net clinic, seeing everybody in the county, which then, as you see on our logo, turned into a Northwest Kansas outreach. We're the only safety net in the frontier communities currently and at that time. Then later on, Hayes has one, Garden City has one, but our county clinic serves really the 11 counties in Northwest Kansas. We operate now as a 501c3. We received that designation here in the last year and a half that will now allow us to operate as a nonprofit and accept community donations and grants and different types of funding mechanisms to assist the clinic in the future. Since then, we see last year we saw 3,600 patients. The 11 counties are probably our biggest outreach is with the children. There's 42 or 45% of our children fall into this uninsured or lower income category. So we send our hygienists out to the different school districts, nursing homes, developmentally disabled centers. The hygienists then do the screenings and that on site at the schools, and then they refer them to their local dentist, or a lot of times they end up maybe having to travel to Atwood to the clinic to see the dentist. Over the year, we've been in inception, I think we got over 12,000 patients on the roll, but generally see the 3,600 a year with one full-time, one part-time dentist, the 41 schools, and only in our ratio, when we first started, we knew if we were going to, just when we were doing Rawlins County, looking at would need to be about a 70-30 insured versus uninsured. But then as we grew as an outreach, that flipped, and now we see 70% either Medicaid or uninsured, and 30% private pay, which most of them are obviously in your county or closer to the county because private pay dentists are in the other communities. We approximately write off $400,000 a year. The other thing that we've seen, particularly the last 4 years, is when we opened up, there was $150,000 of state grant money that would help with these outreach services that could go to operational expenses. Because of the budget situation with the state and the Medicaid opting out of Medicaid expansion, on the federal side, we've seen that shrink from $150,000 to $50,000 the last 2 years. So we've kind of taken probably the most of our cushion has been drained from those two changes that now have our budget really tight. And that's kind of the background of the clinic. We are doing this, we have presented to all, I think 11 county, we are going to all 11 counties just to talk about each county's individual numbers and who we see from the counties. If you look at the second page, that's kind of the numbers in detail. What we are looking at when we're talking about this population, and in particular to Cheyenne County. The top numbers, this is our total budget, since April of 16 to March of this year. Our budget is about 1.3 million in services provided. And when you look at that, Cheyenne County patients represent about 9% of that. I have the actual breakdown of, there's 268 that are insurance, and then the rest of those are uninsured. The total of 705 patients, the rest of them are uninsured, the sliding fee scale and that. So we, about a quarter of those, 700 are private insured, and then the rest of the 700, the 75% were in this write-off of the clinic around which is that red number of 387,000. The 9% is what is actually Cheyenne County's population that fall into that uninsured or underserved of the whole region. So depending on, almost all the 11 counties range anywhere from the 8 to, I think Rawlins County is the highest. It's Rawlins and Sherman at 12% of our patient load comes from those two counties. The things in red is what we're talking about here in the write-off of services for the clinic. The ECP outreach is what we were talking about with the hygienists going to the schools and doing the screenings. And then Medicaid obviously is your children, and on adults,